Ben Ainslie, you were steering on starboard on T6 today, a T6 only day. What were the objectives when you left the dock this morning?
We're just really trying to get out there and figure out how to sail this boat in these conditions. And a day like today, you saw, was pretty rough, but not untypical for Barcelona. So we just got to figure out systems, control of the boat, and so on. So it was a good learning day.
I saw a little nosedive, not even a nosedive, and some damage to the jib, blew the back off the jib. Has the jib become the fuse now on these boats, do you think?
Looks that way, doesn't it? We have some of these big bow down moments, big nosedives. Huge amount of pressure, of course, going into the boats, and obviously the jibs as well. So they seem to take a bit of a pummeling, and we lost our J2 and had to switch to the J3. But actually, the breeze came up a little bit later on, so it was fine, and we were still able to get through the day and tick off our testing list.
We've got a couple of days of AC40 sailing coming up with the other teams involved. Is there a focus now within the team, within the sailors, just talking about the playbook for Villanova for AC40s? Have you started to switch to that kind of mentality?
It's really interesting because, of course, we want to sail well in the AC40 and we want to compete well in Villanova and then later on in the year in Jeddah, but at the same time it doesn't really have any impact on the performance of the big boat for the Cup. So of course there'll be a focus, next couple of days will be a good opportunity to line up against some of the other teams. I think we saw from the previous testing days or training days that we did, it's pretty clear which teams to spend more time in the AC40 than others. So certainly from our perspective, we feel like we've got a bit of catching up to do, but that's a good challenge for the sailing team. Meanwhile, the technical team and the shore team here primarily focus on T6, our test boat, and then of course a very keen eye on some decisions and the manufacturing process for the race boat.
One design racing, often the pin is the place to be at the start line. What did you manage to learn from the short bit of fleet racing we did last week?
Well, from the short bit of fleet racing we did last week, we learned that the pin wasn't the place to be because that's where we were. So I think there's some interesting dynamics of sailing these foiling boats in lighter airs, and certainly fleet racing starts in lighter airs, and really it's just more about having plenty of speed and plenty of charge in the battery, as we say, rather than necessarily where you are in a line too much. And that then changes, of course, when you get more breeze. So it'll be really fascinating. It'd be great to see these boats lined up, fleet racing on, coming this weekend, and then into Villanova. Great spectacle and good for the Cup. And you can see around the harbour here, starting to build up with all of the team spaces coming together. The exhibition centre next to our base. I haven't seen it, but by all accounts, it's a very good exhibition, and a lot of interest in the Cup in general. So it's good to see.
You mentioned a couple of the teams that have been doing more AC40 sailing than the rest. Who's particularly impressed you?
I think Luna Rosa and American Magic were particularly impressive in the lighter stuff that we did. We sailed against them. We didn't sail against them in any breeze, but I think they were going well in the breeze too. And of course, Kiwis, we know they'll be strong in the 40s. We haven't seen Team France or Ainslie line up yet, but from what I've seen in the training so far, they're going just fine. So I think it should prove to be some really close, exciting racing.
Final question, you guys are all super competitive. It's important that you do well in this event, isn't it? Just even for your own personal sense of pride?
It'd be nice. It'd be always good for the feeling in the team, for the positive feeling and momentum. But we saw in the Cup before last, we won the World Series, or whatever you want to call it. Didn't make much difference when it came to the Cup itself. So the key is not taking your eye off what's important in terms of development of the test boats and the race boat.
Fantastic. Thanks, Ben.
Thanks.